Well, good morning guys and welcome to the show. Today we have two things that have been updated that are new and snazzy and cool, and well, you guys are gonna love them. Stay tuned. Many years ago, installing amplifiers was streamlined by coming out with this wire here. It's a multi-conductor wire. It has a pair of whites, a pair of gray, green, purple, and a remote turn-on. It made installing amplifiers and running wires really convenient, both for high level and low level. And well, for the most part, it has gone unchanged for a really long time, but not today. Today, we have the new T-Spec multi-stranded wiring. This is going to change the game entirely. They've addressed a lot of the things that you guys have been asking for. For one, right off the bat, let's just get right to it, 16 gauge version of it. 18 has been the norm. It's always been 18 gauge. There's been a certain group of you out there going, I wish it was bigger. I wish we had a fatter wire. Well, your prayers have been answered. We have a 16 gauge version of it, finally. But we still have the 18 gauge version. T-Spec has tried to make this as easy as possible for you by combining everything that they feel you're gonna need into one kit. So let's open them up, take a look inside, and see what they come with. Because we've seen 18 gauge and we know like all of the, let's take a look at the 16 gauge. Each kit is gonna have the exact same parts in it. Opening either one really isn't gonna matter. Just like an amplifier, I always say read the packaging, because the packaging is going to be a telltale sign of what is going on. First off, it's telling you right off the bat you're going to get 20 feet or 6.1 meters of wire in the box. It's 5 pairs. Oh, wait a minute. We'll get to that in a second. Plus 1. It has this thing here that says 11 conductor, which would make sense because you have 5 pairs. That's 10 plus 1 is 11. Coming over here on the back, it gives us a full breakdown. 20 feet of flexible, over-molded, braided cable. 11 16 gauge conductors. White, white, black, gray, gray, black, green, green, black, violet, violet, black, orange, orange, black? Okay. Outer jacket, heat shrink included, heat shrink wire labels included, red and black ferrules included. Now we have an idea of what comes in it. Let's jump right in. In the center, we'll find some bags. We'll also find braided loom. All right, very nice. And then the wire itself. Now this is heavy, this is robust. It's 11 pieces of 16 gauge. Yeah, it's got some weight to it. Now, one of my personal favorite things is, yes, it has the braided loom. And it is enough braided loom, as you can see, to cover the whole wire. It's not gonna just be like, oh, here's a 3-foot piece, you know. No, it's braided loom to cover every inch of that 20 feet of 16 gauge. Nice. Next up are the ferrules. There's 20 blacks and there's 20 reds. And if you've never done a ferrule before, there is a special tool used to crimp them properly. You can find this at DNF Tool Drawer. We have links to it there where you can pick one up. It also comes with some bigger heat shrink, 6 pieces specifically. This is going to be used to go over the end of the wire when you put your flex loom on there to give it a nice finished edge. And then we have a bag of heat shrink that is labeled. For example, you have rear right negative, rear left negative, front left positive, positive sub. Wait, what? Why? Okay, hold on. Rear left negative. There again, another negative sub. And now there's 2 of each, so you can finish each end appropriately. This stuff is quite thick. This is bigger than a 4 gauge, but smaller than a 0 gauge. Strip the end back some. The insulation feels good. It's not too thick to where it's adding to the girth of the wire because it is 11 16 gauge. It feels nice and it's very flexible for what it is. Inside you'll find this covering here that needs to just be removed. And then if you open the wire up, you'll find some paper also needs to be removed. Other than size, which honestly is probably the most important thing that you guys have wanted them to upgrade, taking it one step further, they've added this orange and orange black. Adding these 2 extra wires can open the doors to, well, a lot of different types of solutions for problems that you might not be seeing yet. This pair also is on the 18 gauge version. So now we have an 18 gauge with 5 pairs plus remote. When we started talking about this, immediately someone said, oh my gosh, that is awesome. Now I can use the 18 gauge as my signal wire, and I can use this as my speaker wire. Any combination you want to do is cool there. It's just nice that we finally have this bigger wire. For those of you guys that have never done ferrules on the end of wires, let's see how it's done. Strip off about a 1/2 inch of wire. Twist it and make it nice and tight. If it has a stripe on it, it's black. If it's solid, it's going to be red. Slide it in over the wire. You want to see the tip of the wire poke right here at the end. Doesn't have to stick out, but you want to make sure that it's there. When it comes to ferrule crimpers, there's 2 different kinds. There's 6-sided and there's 4-sided. Either one of them will work. Put it in and squeeze. I like to do it at least 3 times, rotating the wire slowly just to make sure I get a nice bite on the wire. And what it'll look like is this. You'll have these little teeth mark along the wire, and the nice thing is this isn't gonna pull off. Purpose for ferrule, when you go into the amplifier or wherever you're gonna put it and you start to screw it down, you don't have to over tighten it. Everyone always goes like crazy. Just, you know, so tight. What you don't want to happen is the wires that are here get all cut and shredded and whatnot. Ferrule sleeves them all together, then compresses them nice and tight and gives you a nice solid pin to put in and then adjust down onto, and also gives you a nice finished end to go into the amplifier. Grab the other wire, twist, slide, crimp. And now when I go into the amplifier, I have this red telling me it's positive, this black telling me it's negative. It looks really nice. The other thing too is don't be afraid to trim these down. In some amplifiers you're going to put them in, you want to make sure that these go all the way into the amplifier. If they're sticking out, trim the tips off here until you get it the right length. The last thing I'd like to do is a size comparison between the 18 gauge and the 16 gauge, because I feel some of you guys are going to want to know specifics. A pair of calipers ought to do the trick. Going loosely on it, we're at 0.555 inches on the 16 gauge. We're at 0.452 on the 18 gauge. Taking a closer look at the 2 wires, 18 gauge, 16 gauge. Alright guys, there you have it. Your prayers have been answered. Not only do we have a thicker gauge multi-stranded wire, but they've added in 2 extra wires, and it just comes as a complete kit with ferrules, shrink wrap for the ends, braided loom, the finishing heat shrink. It's all there. Super cool. If you'd like to learn more about T-Spec and all the other products they offer, you can find them at tspeconline.com. There you'll find more about this wire, as well as they make a full line of distribution blocks that I love using. They're pretty cool. That's it for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Fernando, if you please.
On to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always. We'll see you later next time. Bye.
Bye.